Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Just wanted to take a minute and welcome you to week 5. And we're going to take a look at a couple of things here that lead into kind of from leftover from week 4, and now we're kind of heading into week 5. I've given you some topics, feedback on the topics of the paper from last week. Those were done earlier this morning. I would take a take a quick look at those. If there's actually a numeric grade in that topic paper, you're good to go. You can take a look at my notes for feedback if you had some. If you did not receive a numeric grade in there, then you're going to want to take a look at my feedback and adjust that and then repost. So that way I can help you refine that topic a little bit. A few of you chose topics that were super broad, and we need to kind of bring those home a little bit more closer. The case selection for group 2, I will say that just to go on there, I have taken care of the groups. And then in order to see the groups, I did send in an announcement earlier today. I'm going to go back up and kind of walk through how you would access that. So if you go to people, okay, and if we're going to people, okay, and there's everybody's names, you'll click on groups, okay. Under groups, you can click on there and you'll see whichever person, who's in your group. I did adhere to most everybody's requests for team members. There was a case where I think one group had one person listed twice, so I just made a call and went with what the individual themselves posted. So those are all kind of, as we see here, we've got those groups now aligned up here. Now, I do want to say there's a few of you who were in my class for ethics that we use this for one case. So I'm going to take a look and just kind of, for those of you who haven't, and maybe you haven't used this before, I'm just going to go ahead and go into one of these to kind of show you how it works. I'm going to go into group 2. You can kind of click on the team portion here. And what you'll do is any one of these as you go in, you can what you'll be able to do once you're inside of the group, and it's not going to let me do it because I'm not in any of these groups. I am and I'm not. I appear in the groups as the class instructor in each one of them, but I'm kind of a hidden person. So in this view, I can't really show you that, but let me go ahead and leave the student view here real quick, and then I can show you how this works. So if we go, what you'll do is click onto group 1, because this is kind of how you'll be able to, you take a look here, and you can click on anybody's name, or you can come over here, visit the group homepage. Okay, so again, just to refresh you on that one, well, I'll go back, you click on here, visit the group homepage. Okay. Now in here, there's no messages or anything, but if you notice, it's a little bit of a what I would call a mini, what I called in the note, it's a mini canvas. So what you've got here is you've got announcements that you can do in the group, and anybody can post an announcement. You can make your own pages. You can create a discussion, which is I highly encourage you guys to do, to go back and forth over your case. You can also upload under files. You can upload a file here for you guys to work on, so you don't have to email it. So if it gets very large or something like that, you can actually drop the files in here, and then everybody in your group can access that. Okay. And you probably won't be using either one of those, but typically most of the ones at this point you're going to be using are going to be probably files or discussions. And I had a couple of groups, and like I said, in the ethics class, who did this because with a team case, and found it to be very useful. And I think there's a couple of you guys that were in that class as well. So you can use this to go back and forth with. Okay, like I said, you're probably only going to be going back and forth between discussions and files. You can also directly email people from within here. Okay, so you can see I'm in the group, but I can't access the group from the student view. But here is this particular group. You can email, you can click on it to email right it from inside here if you wanted to. You guys can create a discussion. Okay, click here to add a discussion. It's pretty self-explanatory there. And then if you want to add files again to add a file, you can either drag it there or you can actually choose it and go search for it in your file system in your computer. Okay, so that's kind of how this aspect of groups works, and it gives you a little bit more of a detailed view of how it looks from where we're at. So let me go ahead and get out of the groups section now, and we're going to go back to, and then I'll go back in and we'll take a look at how finishing off what's happening in week 5 here. Week 5, in your case, it's an individual case. Okay, well, it's an individual portion of the team case. So what I mean by that is that you're going to actually complete this case halfway, kind of like we did before. Okay, so you're going to immediately go ahead and put out here a baseline, okay, which is kind of giving you give us an overview of the company and what the situation is. Okay, you're going to identify a problem statement and the root cause. Okay, and then you're going to come up with a couple of action plans. Okay, and then with that, have 2 articles that you're going to need to have for that potential solution. Okay, so this is probably going to end up to be pretty close to 5 or 6 pages, somewhere between 5 and 7 pages. Okay, because you're going to need the baseline is probably going to be a page, page and a half. Problem statements probably another page or 2. You'll need to have 2 articles in here, so you'll have to have 2 articles with their summaries, just like you did last time. And then you will actually have also your SMART goals, and this should be probably more like a page and a half to 2 pages. So you've got about 2 pages here, 2 pages, 2 pages, page and a half to 2 pages in your goals and how you see you can solve this. And then the last part of that would be 2 of your articles summaries from the last, just like you did last week. Okay, so that's the individual portion of this case. So everybody's going to turn that in, and I'm going to turn those around as quickly as I can to you so you guys can look at the feedback. Okay, so as we go out of here, let me go back over here to home, back down to week 5. Okay, and then we're going to go to, I'll give you kind of a quick glimpse into week 6 here, because the rest of it's pretty much self-explanatory. Okay, you've got you've got your post quiz. Okay, you got your discussion. Okay, so what we'll do is that way you can so you'll turn that in obviously there. Now going down here to week 6, we're going to take a quick look at the team portion. Okay, so the team portion is basically you have 3 people. Okay, all of you guys have come up with solutions. Okay, so you're going to basically combine this into one paper now. So you're going to have out of this, you're going to have the first part of this is obviously going to be the baseline. You're going to have that, again, that 1 to 2 pages. So you're going to have to kind of marry that in between all of yours. Okay, and then you're going to have your first. Then you're going to basically summarize that challenge. Okay, as the part of the problem. So you're going to take each individual problem statement and kind of identify which one is the one you are going to tackle, the biggie, and what the root cause is. Then you're going to describe a couple of things that might be secondary issues, or some other ones. Maybe person A came up with the primary, and that's what you decide to go with, and then persons B and C would be able to kind of put together, and their issues become secondary that you're going to basically tackle. Okay. Then you're going to have some course of action, which is going to ties into the goals that each one of you had. Okay. And decide on how you're going to move things forward. And it may be that as you discuss this, that, you know, somebody may have a better idea of, you may decide that person A's problems is going to be the primary one, but maybe person B has a good solution to that problem. And you guys want to factor that in. Okay. The last part of this would be, and as you can see, description of the problems, recommendations, goal setting. Okay, with some action items. Okay, specific actions. Again, those are actionable items, similar to what we've been doing in the discussions. Okay. So when you bring all that together, okay, it's one complete paper, probably somewhere between 5 to 7 pages, without the 6 articles that you will need. So each one of you will have researched 2 articles for this. So you will need to include all of those 6 articles in your presentation, and you need to be referring to those, whether they're identifying and working towards the major problem or towards the secondary problem. Like I said, this is just kind of the wrap up. But I just wanted to kind of go over this part of it so you kind of see how things fit together. So basically, you're doing basically a mini case study now, okay? In week 5, we're going to have, you'll do the individual one, okay? Which means your individual portion that goes all the way through how you would solve it, okay? And what you see is the issues. Then you'll get together next week, combine those into one solid team paper. And then there'll be some housekeeping next week where each person will actually then have to actually upload the team's paper to your Dropbox, but that's next week. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Just give me definitely give me a buzz, drop me a line through the email, and I'll be happy to address any of those questions. Hope everybody has a good week and had a good weekend.